You're listening to Parasearch UK Radio. News, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch UK Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
It's Monday evening, and you're listening to Joe and Gemma on the Supernaturelle show.
Good evening and welcome to this week's episode of the Supernaturelle show. You are joined by me, Gemma, and we've got the lovely, absolutely gorgeous Jolene. Hi, Jo.
Hello. Gosh,
how are you?
How cool is this? Our first show of 2019.
I know. Doesn't it feel like we've been gone for ages?
Yeah, to be honest, it does. I feel like literally I have not stopped at all from this Christmas break. So yeah, it's been quite busy, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, it's safe to say it's definitely been a bit of a, we'll call it a whirlwind, shall we?
Yeah, definitely. So obviously for those guys who are listening and who don't actually look at our Facebooks or anything like that, we had the most amazing news last week, didn't we?
We did.
So we got invited to go and sit on the sofa with the lovely Ben Shepherd and the beautiful Kate Garraway, who is a joy, wasn't she? She was lovely.
She is even more beautiful in real life than what she looks on the old TV box.
But yeah, we had a great conversation with those guys, didn't we? And with two other lovely ladies as well.
Well, you did. It's safe to say I totally bricked it. I was like, oh my God, what is occurring in my life right now?
Oh, bless you. But we all did fantastic. You know, the comments that were brought back were fantastic, saying that we did really well and we kind of put the paranormal into a great, interesting conversation. I don't even know what I'm trying to say there. I knew what I wanted to say, but I didn't come out very well.
Yeah, you went around the bushes a bit there, love, didn't you? You had a Gemma moment.
I've been up since stupid o'clock this morning, though. I think I've driven up half the country. I mean, Friday we were in London first thing in the morning. Last thing at night I was in Scotland. So yeah, kind of having one of those days again. Started off the day in Scotland and now I'm back in old West Yorkshire.
Back in old West Yorkshire.
Oh dear. So what's the crack with you, Gemma? What have you been doing?
Well, I've done absolutely nothing today. I've got woman flu.
Self-inflicted?
Well, I was out Saturday night, so it is possible. But no, I think I'm just a bit run down. I think all the excitement of the last few months has finally caught up, and my body's saying, "Hang on, slow down."
I called getting old, that, you know.
Ouch! I felt that. That was deep, that, Jo.
Oh well, you know. We've got to take care of each other nowadays. You see, we're both knocking on a tad now.
It's all right. Zimmer frames are on order. Don't you worry. So
I'm going to say who's going to push who first, though.
You'd push me off a cliff.
I should have said who's going to haunt who first. More to the point.
Yeah, there is always that one.
Oh,
Speaking of haunting, shall we move on with tonight's show?
I think we need to, because it's the usual Gem Joe banter bit at the start, isn't it?
It is. So tonight we are joined by the lovely Andy Castle from Past Paranormal. Good evening, Andy. How are you?
Good evening. Not bad. Thank you very much. Just on a rest week now after a nasty week of nights. So bit of chill time this week.
Oh, I think you deserve it after working nights. I think anybody that works nights deserves time off.
Well, that's how I spent my New Year's Eve, at work. So,
bless you. What do you do, Andy?
I work in a prison.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a dog handler. I actually work on the dog section, but I'm in a maximum security prison.
Oh, sounds interesting.
At its moments.
At its moment.
So, Andy, do you just want to tell everybody listening a little bit about your team, how you started, who you've got on your team, that sort of thing? And just before you do start, actually, I have posted a link to your team in the chat room, so anybody listening can pop over and have a look and check you out.
Oh, lovely. Thank you very much. Yeah, well, we're still a fairly new group as such, but between us, I'd say we have maybe over 100 investigations between us. We met actually working for one of the event companies, the event groups that do all the ghost hunts and the big venues.
Yeah.
And one thing and another, we all left at separate times. And it was just a case of, I was actually working at a prison down south in the Midlands, and I was talking to a guy down there. And you always get the jokes, people calling you Ghostbusters and stuff like this. Yeah. And one of the guys happened to mention it, and the guy that was down there said, "Why are they calling you that?" And explained to him that what we used to do with a group. And he said, "Well, come and have a look at my house." So we got talking to him, and I got a couple of the guys together who we used to work with at the other group. And that's how we started, basically. And it is out of all the group investigations I've done, whether it be castle, museum, stately home, his house is probably the most active, best place I've been to for activity. It was amazing. Really? Oh, yeah.
You quite often find that, though, don't you?
Oh, yeah. It was a fascinating place. So
how many people have you got on your team, Andy?
There's 5. There's obviously myself. I'd say only in the game maybe a couple of years as such. I'm probably the more visible on social media, and I tend to chase up a lot of the places to find the investigations and stuff. We've also got Sarah, my other half. She's again fairly new to the game. She came to a few of the ghost hunt events previously as a guest. Mm-hmm. And it's then we discovered that she was actually quite sensitive to spirit.
Right, okay.
Not actually psychic or medium, but when, for example, I've done a venue at the Army Mills in Leeds.
Yeah.
And I've been there in the night time, we've been there on the daytime, and Sarah's picked up on like activity during the day, what I picked up on the night. And she like picks up on feelings and stuff like that of the area.
So would you say she's like quite empathic?
Oh, definitely. But obviously she didn't realise till she started coming along to ghost hunts and investigations. So she's still all new to her, really. We've got Dee. Dee's a very experienced investigator. He, again, works at the events company with me. Very good at getting activity. Very strong character. He has got a habit of antagonising the spirit world to get results sometimes, and usually get quite alarming results. Louise, again, she works for the same company with us. Now, Louise is our techie. She's the one who walks around with the cameras, the video cameras, the EVP recorders, and after we've done an investigation, she'll spend weeks just trawling through all the evidence she's got, in every inch, every second of it, and comes up with some brilliant results. The house in question we went to, she's got an amazing photo there that we just can't explain. It was taken in total darkness, and there's a clear face at the end of the corridor. Nobody can explain it. And the other member is Kate. We know Kate from being a guest with the events company. She joined us on our last investigation at a pub in York. And Kate's also quite sensitive, quite empathic to her spirit as well.
And what about yourself? Are you medium or empathic?
No. I think I'm more just enthusiastic. The interest's always been there. I mean, I've been through stuff in the past. I can't explain stuff. Stuff's happened to me, and then it starts off, you'll go see like a psychic medium for some reason, and then they'll tell you something that they couldn't possibly know. So the interest's always been there. And then obviously I started the events group as an investigator, and one thing led to another and I ended up leaving. And it was just all the case of us all being in the right place at the right time. We got together and we just started up. So I don't claim to be an expert or a medium or anything like that. We just enthusiastic.
In all fairness, though, Andy, who is an expert? I say
True.
this all the time. We can't possibly be experts when we don't know everything there is to know.
But true, I think there are a lot of people who claim to be, though, aren't there, I think?
Say that again, Joe.
A lot of people do claim to be experts in the field. However, we did our pop-up show, didn't we, on New Year's Day with the boss lady, Kerry. And we actually described, people who say that they're experts. Everybody's always learning. It doesn't matter what. Do you know what? I'm having a proper meltdown today. No, people profess to have such an in-depth knowledge, and they may be quite knowledgeable about a subject. However, when you put somebody on the spot, then you do tend to find that they're not as knowledgeable as what they'd like to make out.
Well, I think everybody brings something to the paranormal field. Everybody that enters it brings something to it.
Yeah, they've got to do, haven't they?
Yeah, it doesn't make any of us experts because we're all still learning.
Definitely. I mean, anybody can do a number of courses, be it online courses and stuff like this, but it doesn't make you, a parapsychologist or something like that. You can build up that wealth of knowledge, and you can maybe try and interpret things a bit differently, just for experience and that little bit of know-how, maybe. But
what's your take on these online, these demonology courses and things like that? Because I know there is one that you can probably do for, I think it's about £29 or something online, and these. I know I am going to be quite diplomatic in what I say now, but there are a couple of teams out there who pay for these courses for their staff members and then make claims that they're all parapsychologists. What do you make of that?
That is one of my big bugbears. I mean, if you actually look at the definition of parapsychologist, you've got to have a degree in psychology. Yeah. You need a master's degree, you need so many years at university. So basically, you've got to be a doctor before you even start studying the paranormal world. Mm. And there are guys out there, and we know there are, who claim they are these parapsychologists, demonologists, and all I've done is set an online course. Mm. It's no.
Do you know what? I shouldn't really say this, but I actually did one of these online courses just to see how easy it was to actually pass it.
Now,
and it took me probably around about 6 hours from start to finish to actually do this whole course. But I do not go around telling everybody I'm a parapsychologist.
Yeah, that is one of my bugbears. I mean, fair enough, you've done the course, you've gained that bit of extra knowledge. Just say you've done a parapsychology course rather than actually claiming to be something you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
So what have you been up to recently? What have the team been doing, Andy? Because I've seen on your Facebook page that you have been quite busy.
Yeah, well, just before Christmas, we were due to investigate a private property, a house in York, but things happened and somebody in the family got ill, so we didn't attend that. That was like a spiritual attachment to her son, which we were going to attend. But the one before that was the Artful Dodger pub. I'm not if you're familiar with York or.
Oh, I am actually.
Only for drinking in the pub.
I know where the Artful Dodger pub is, though, Andy.
If you're familiar with Micklegate?
I am, yeah.
Right at the bottom of Micklegate, past Ziggy's nightclub.
Yeah.
It's a small pub called the Artful Dodger. It used to be called Walker's Bar. Mm-hmm. And we got in touch with the landlord. I mean, I'm fortunate to know a lot of people from York. and we got in touch with him. And the cellar down there dates back like 600 years. And there's rumours of activity. So we went down there. I was only there a couple of hours, man, because obviously the pub's open upstairs and you've got that bit of noise as well. We had a quick poke around, and Mark, the owner, he was telling us all about where the monks come down and they were brewing the ale and stuff down there, and there's all sorts. The cellar itself it actually covers a bigger area than the pub. It's huge, the cellar. Mm-hmm. So we're down there, and we started off with the spirit board session, and there was a bit of glass movement, nothing major. And it was just going to yes constantly. So we started to walk around after that, and with the K2 readings and calling out on the rods. And it wasn't until we went into the separate area, like an alcove, and we were talking in there using the dowsing rods. And we got quite strong communication to the yes or no answers and the direction and stuff like that. And we established that there was a young girl down there. And Sarah felt quite strong name, Olivia, quite strong a name to the attachment to the name Olivia. So we were talking to this girl, and as things went on, then apparently it became apparent that her father was down there with her. And they died down there. We couldn't actually establish where or how they died. But we are going back. We're in talks with them at the moment to go back and do some more. But it was we asked if there's anybody else down there in spirit and for them to come forward. And something did. And as we were talking, the three girls that were with me, Sarah, Kate and Louise, they all developed like stomach cramps all at the same time.
Right.
Which, we just passed off. We didn't really, know what was happening. So after finishing up, we went upstairs and we were talking to the staff in the bar. And the kid behind the bar was saying, well, did Mark tell you, what it was used for down there? And we says, well, no. He said the monks were down there with the beer and stuff like that. He says, well, where were you? And we explained the alcove. He went, yeah, that's got history in there. Did he tell you? And we went, no. He went, well, that's where they performed illegal abortions.
Right, okay.
That's the same spot where all three girls started developing real bad stomach cramps at the same time. So is there a connection? I don't know.
Quite possibly. If they're quite empathic anyway, then you would kind of expect at least one person to have some feelings, but all three of them together, that's quite good, really.
Yeah, it was just, obviously we didn't know that beforehand, because what we tried to do, we'll go to a place and we won't get knowledge off them before, and we'll just say where's been busy, where's active, and then afterwards we'll tell them what we've got and see if it corresponds to what's actually happened down there. And they also said that they think there's a little girl that runs about upstairs the pub as well, so it did kind of tally up.
See, I like that you do that, Andy. I like that you go in blind, because when you know history of places, it can put preconceived ideas in your head, which is going to have an impact on how your investigation goes. Oh,
definitely. Yeah, well, I've seen that before when I've been on the events company, and you've had guests sort of all of a sudden coming up with these stories that they're feeling, it's hot in here, there's a fire, and then all you've got to do is look on the internet and that building burnt down or something like that. Yeah, we don't go in with a loaded gun, so to speak. One thing we like to do, especially with a house or something like that, we'd like to get them to write down stuff in a sealed envelope, and then we'll talk to them, and afterwards we'll open the envelope and see if it actually corresponds with what we've got as well.
The house call, is it the one that you didn't do, where you believe that there's an attachment to a child in the house?
Yeah, well, that was the York one. We didn't get to do that one. We are in talks to do it again. The son's actually grown up, but stuff happens around the son all the time in the house. And then she was also telling me that there's a certain corner in the house where a young granddaughter, who's maybe like 3 years old, she's terrified of a certain corner in the house. She just points at it and screams constantly. So, I mean, it could be something, it could be nothing, but we will go around and have a look for them anyway, just to see if we can get anything for them.
Yeah, but you've not actually been, because I was going to ask you how you know it, how you know that it's an attachment to the son.
Yeah, it's from only what she was telling us. Right. It's something that keeps following her son around, even when he leaves the house. be it stuff getting moved, stuff getting pushed away, hidden and stuff like that whenever he's about.
Obviously, you being a prison officer, you'll understand, won't you? Obviously, the line of questioning that you would have to undertake in order to establish whether there is an attachment or whether, you know, there are people out there who kind of fabricate stories. We're not saying that, you know, that they are fabricating a story, but have you interviewed the lady and actually established whether there is an attachment there, do you think?
Well, I don't think I'm qualified to say if there's an attachment or not, if I'm perfectly honest. We were going to go and look, see if we could pick up anything up on our equipment.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying though? You know, like when you go and investigate these private houses and things like that. I mean, Gemma and I get asked so many times to go and do private investigations, and we kind of have to go on. I know it sounds stupid to say, but it's like the police ghosty. It's like you have to kind of.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. I completely stalk people. Yeah. If we're being asked to go do a house, I will stalk people. I will go through their social media with a fine-tooth comb, and you have to be realistic. You know, we've spoken to endless people about this before, and I think the majority of us are all under the same understanding. You know, you have to know who you're trying to assist. You know, have they got a history? Do they take medications? Do they drink too much alcohol? You know, is there underlying factors? And you have to know where you're going. You have to know the people that you're going to try and help.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely. Well, I say we've had them before where we've been talking, and we can maybe be talking for a week or so before we actually agree to go. And there was a lady before, and she was talking, and every time she was saying stuff, that it was just getting more and more like elaborate, like something from a film.
Yeah.
So we didn't end up going in the end. I think she said she was going to get a priest in or something like that. So I don't know if she was a bit of a romancer, she was with the situation.
Have you come across quite a lot of people like that who ask for your services, and then obviously, you know, you find out when you get there that there is absolutely nothing at all?
Surprisingly, well, not really. We've only done a couple of houses. I mean, we have advertised on like the selling sites because it's a free service. We don't want to make money out of it. We do it because we enjoy what we do and we're enthusiastic about it.
Mm-hmm.
We have another house lined up in the Scunthorpe area who approached us.
Near me.
He's in talks with one of our other members, and we're going to go down there. He's had cases of where the telly's been flashing on and off, and there's been banging come from the wall. So we're going to let Dee speak to that chap, with it being near his area, so you know, he can sort that one out for him. But with the other stuff, because I was born and raised in York most of my life, and I know York quite well. We've actually approached a number of properties in York, not the big ones that are well known for hauntings.
Mm-hmm.
The smaller ones, like, cause there's a lot of old buildings, a lot of old pubs. We've approached them, and they're really keen to have us in. Obviously, I'm going to reveal it actually in a couple of weeks' time. I said that on the Facebook page. We've got a pub booked. We're actually going to the Guy Fawkes Inn in York at the end of this month.
I love it there.
Very nice.
It's an amazing pub, yeah. Me and Louise visited them in December, and we're just walking around on the different floors. We were having K2 spikes, going on to certain levels outside certain rooms, and you know, when sometimes you will go to an area and you get that tightness in your chest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so that is an atmosphere there. We're getting that. So we are visiting there on the 29th of January. And if you actually go up back, the cottage as well, there's a little cottage at back, if you've seen that.
I've actually stayed in that, you know, and you know what? Yeah. I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, I'm sure there's somebody in the room. It was awful.
Yeah, I've seen videos afterwards of orbs and stuff in there, but that's supposedly where Guy Fawkes was born, in that cottage at the back. But they're really keen for us to go in there, and there's a few more in the pipeline.
So, what's your favourite place that you've been to up to now?
I'd have to say it's my friend's house in the Midlands, Nottingham. The first one we all got together. A bit about the house. It was built, I think, in the 1920s, and it's on 3 floors. But we're talking with Rob, the guy. It was a halfway house at some point for all like the waifs and straves. It was a bad boys' home. It was converted into flats before he actually took it over and it made it into his house. But we're talking with him. He's had like old ladies stop him on the street and say he's had little boys waving at her through the window, but he's got no little boys in there and stuff like that. And as soon as we went into that house, you could feel it. There's like a cold pillar of air that runs straight through the middle of the house and a stairway. So 2 stairwells. It's an amazing place, and the eeriest place of all is the bathroom where the toilet is.
Really?
It is eerie, yeah. Me and Dee did a spirit box session in there, and I mean, again, I've seen spirit box sessions and people react to them. I've always been slightly dubious about them, but with this one, we were getting clear answers from it. I've got the video on our YouTube page and the Facebook page, and we were, I think, Dee asked for a name, and within 5 seconds, it went Martin straight away. And then, well, what do you want us to do? And it went, get out. And then I think it insulted him, told him to go away, not such a pleasant term. And it was a really, really eerie place. But that's where we got the photograph of the face at the end of the corridor.
Right, okay.
But yeah, like I say, I've been to museums, castles, stately homes. And I think when you're doing the events company, you're losing that personal touch as well. Because with this, you're there with people who live in that house. They experience stuff on a day-to-day basis. And while, you know, you go to Harmony Mills, for example, you've got 30 people there. And you're like, right, we've got 40 minutes in this area. Well, we'll move on. And then you've got you can't get involved as such. You can't get attached to it. I mean, they do provide a good service, a lot of these events companies, but I prefer this side of it, like the smaller side of it now. We do both.
You see, me and Joe do both. We do public events, but we also do private events. So, yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. When you have got guests, you have to focus on your guests. You're not there to investigate yourself.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. You'll be doing your activities, your techniques, your skills, but at the same time, you're like babysitting everybody, you're watching everybody, and it's different. And I've had cases as well where guests are just there for a laugh, just there for a giggle. They might have had a bit to drink and stuff like that. It's, it can ruin the night.
Yeah.
We've just had a question in the chat room by the lovely Carl Hutchinson. He's asking what type of spirit box are you using?
It's a smaller one. Is it an S11? The smaller one?
The SB7.
The SB7, sorry. SB7. Yeah, SB7. It's because obviously we're all self-funded as well, because we're not a money-making organisation. We've got to buy all our equipment, so you can spend a fortune on some stuff.
Oh yes. Yeah, I think anybody, any paranormal investigator will completely agree with you there. It is not cheap.
No, not at all. But I mean, you look online. I mean, one piece of kit which I'm not really a fan of is an ovulus, and a lot of people use them.
What's your reasoning behind that?
Well, I've seen them on these ghost hunts, and they've had them there. And they'll say something, and automatically people react on it, think it's a message. I've done them maybe dozens of them, and I've had the word Pluto come out maybe 7 times, at different events. I mean, Pluto, what are we talking about? The moon, the Roman god, the dog. What are we talking about?
The dog.
Yeah.
Well, is that an Ovilus 3, that, Andy, or is it the 5?
Well, any Ovilus, I'm just not a fan of them at all. I think it's just an expensive bit of kit, which there's no way of actually, And you've seen it on television shows where they've come up relevant. I think all the times I've used them, I've had one relevant answer to all the times I've used them. I'm just not a fan. I wouldn't purchase one.
Yeah, I think every single investigator has their own, they have their own favourite pieces of equipment, and some people just don't get on with the spirit boxes, some people don't get on with Ovilus, and some people don't get on with, the XSLS cameras. And, you have to find that piece of equipment that actually works for you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I do like SLS cameras. I mean, they're another expensive piece of kit, and I'd love to know how they actually work. Because, I mean, I'm sure you guys have used them before, but you get your stick figure there, but it's when they actually start interacting with the background or with people and stuff like that. I just can't explain it.
Andy?
Yeah?
Sorry, I lost you there for a second. Can you just repeat what you just said? I'm so sorry. My volume just went.
It's like we Jolene was just talking about the SLS camera. And it's a great piece of kit. I can't explain how it works, but I'd love to know how it works. But it's one thing to get a stick figure there, but it's when the stick figure actually starts interacting with stuff in the background or with people there. It's a great piece of kit.
In all fairness, yeah, they are really, really good. I've actually had that before where something has interacted. So I've said, "Can you touch my hand?" and something has touched my hand, and it phenomenal. But I also get where you're coming from. You're more worried about the authenticity of it.
Yeah, but it's something I can't explain. I mean, you've just said then, it's interacted with you. How does it know? I mean, I've had them before where a smaller figure's appeared next to somebody and held a hand out, and it's reached up and like as if it was holding the hand and stuff like that, or it's sat on a swing. I can't comprehend how it actually works.
Gemma, have I lost you?
No, I'm back. Sorry, I'm just going to... you carry on chatting. I'm just going to sort my mic out. I'm having issues.
Okay. With regards to, the XSLS camera, it uses skeletal body mapping. So it uses the infrared in order to pick up and track the body movements. Now, if you actually watch it, if you actually see something materialize, it just materializes as a bunch of spots. And then basically what will happen is it then forms the actual body and the outline of the body. And that's what's amazing, is that you can see something actually manifest on screen out of thin air. And like you say, Andy, there's no way of explaining that. Where did it come from? How on earth is it going to interact with you? And, you're asking questions in real time and you're actually getting those answers and interactions from something that is an intelligent being because it's responding to your questions.
Yeah, I think that is one of the most impressive bits of technology there is in the game, because there's no way you can explain that.
Yeah, so there's quite a lot of impressive bits of kit out at the moment. I mean, everybody at the minute is trying to, build these electronic devices in order to ascertain spirit connection and spirit voices. And I mean, we've just had, one of the biggest Facebook live streams where they did a piece of kit there that they've been working on for God knows how long. And then, you've got the likes of Bill Chappell on Digital Dowsing, who, he comes up with quite a lot of things for Zach Bagans. And, there's people out there who are very knowledgeable and very clever in the roots of ITC. So,
yeah.
There are people just of normal stature, though, in everyday life. These, some of these kids are like electricians during the day, and they're building these little spirit boxes themselves. And I mean, it's not difficult to actually do a spirit box these days either.
Yeah, it's the same as the K2 meters, isn't it? A lot of people are making their own K2 meters as well, or with magnets and stuff like that.
The only problem that I've got with that, sorry, I think I'm back now. If I do drop out again, I am so sorry, everyone. The only problem I've got with what you've just said is, personally, I like the environmental factors to be taken into account too.
Yeah.
You know, you've got so many differences there that could give you a false positive reading without a doubt. Even down to extension leads with too many plugs or too much wattage, you know, that's going to affect your EMF, which is going to affect all your pieces of equipment.
Yeah. See, when we go to a place, Louise likes to walk around and take a base reading as well of the area to see if anything is actually going to affect any of the equipment as we're walking around.
What do you do if you find that there is a bit of a boost in a certain area on your walk round?
Well, you got to investigate the area. You know, it could be like we've had it before where there's been, you know, like I'm rubbish with technology. The big decks where you have all the internet and stuff like that in like these stately homes that you're kicking off a right EMF reading and stuff like that, or cabling and stuff like that. Just make note and avoid that area if need be, because it's just going to send you equipment wappy.
Yeah, the last thing you want is wappy equipment on an investigation. But in saying that, some of your equipment, when the batteries are running low, that can affect how your equipment performs too.
Yeah. Obviously, I think as well, a lot of the companies now, where they'll go live on Facebook but stand right over the equipment. Obviously, the phone will be kicking out a signal as well and affecting some of the equipment at times.
That completely depends on how close you are to the equipment, though, in all fairness. Like all my own personal equipment, I've tested it. I know exactly how close I can be to my equipment without it affecting.
Mm-hmm.
So that is about knowing your equipment, really, isn't it?
I mean, I have been on other group events, and I've seen them literally stood over the equipment trying to do a Facebook live feed, literally stood over it, and then they're saying it's spiking. When, you know, they're more bothered about saying hello to people on Facebook rather than actually focusing on what they're doing.
You do find that, though. You quite often do find that a lot of people want some sort of proof. I'm so sorry, everyone. Coughing away. A lot of people want proof, and they'll take it in any which way form they can possibly get. You quite often see that.
Yeah. So I think it's just going mindful of, like what we say, what equipment interferes, all your equipment, how it affects it, rather than focusing on the live feed. That's what I'm trying to say.
So, have you got any events coming up, Andy? Have you got any? You don't do events as such, do you? You don't do public events. It's more.
We have had requests to do events, but I think as a group, as a unit, we want to get that bit more confident ourselves, that bit more training, if you like. We did have the option to do Within Sea Lighthouse over near Hull. Mm-hmm. But no, we don't do events as such. But the Guy Fawkes Inn, they actually said that they may want us to do regular nights there. So we'll be in talks with them at the end of the month to see if anything comes from that.
Well, fingers crossed it does for you.
Oh yeah, we shall see. Obviously, the only thing with going to the pubs is you have to go in when they finish. So you're starting at after o'clock at night, or you go in at daytime. And we were lucky enough with the Guy Fawkes Inn. We're starting off in the restaurant area. We'll be shutting about 9 o'clock, so we can work from there on.
Yeah, that makes sense. In all fairness,
it's quite a busy pub that as well, isn't it? On like on a weekend. So Gemma, I think it might have to be a little haunt of ours when we head to York again.
It is an amazing pub. I mean, it dates back. I think it was built at the beginning of the 1700s, and it's still got all the old gas fittings, original gas fittings and stuff like that in it. It's a lovely pub.
And see, I'm sure I've been in there once or twice, but
yeah, it's right next to York Minster.
Yeah, that means absolutely nothing to me, Andy. Honestly, I'm the sort of person that can get lost using a sat nav.
Bless you.
So, just as quickly as you can, could you just run me through how you actually do an investigation from beginning to end?
From arriving at the property?
Yeah.
Right. From arriving at a property, obviously we'll speak to whoever's there, be it the house owners, the pub staff. We'll explain what we're going to do. We'll have a quick walk round. Louise will take some base readings, and then we'll start off with an opening protection prayer. With that, and it depends on where we are. We could just start with depending on how many numbers we are. If we've got a decent number, we may link hands and call out to spirit. We may start off with a spirit board session. All this time we have like the K2 on the side so we can see if there's any flickers. Louise will have already walked around before we start all that, taking photos before the investigation starts and videos. Well, with the lights on, and then once we start, we'll darken it. Why do we always search in the dark? I don't know.
The one simple answer to that is because when you take away one of your senses, it enhances your other, and it adds to the fear factor.
Thank you. I remember that one.
Yeah, it's like sensory deprivation, though, isn't it? If you're in the dark, you can't see properly, so your hearing's automatically heightened. Whereas if you take your hearing away, your sight is automatically heightened as well. So take away a sense, and then that's why majority of people tend to sense things in the dark, because one of those senses has been deprived. So that's probably one of the explanations.
I think as well as we do it on like night time as well, it is going to be quieter than it is during the daytime as well. You'd like to think. Well,
depends on the area, though. I mean, I've done a lot of well-known locations, and some of the venues can be very noise contaminated from outside sources.
Well, definitely. I remember doing the York Dungeons a couple of years ago, and come 10 o'clock, the nightclub above it opens. So all you can hear from 10 o'clock onwards is deep bass and blasting out.
And that goes on until about 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah. Well, like us going back, we will try and cover the whole area. We do have a CCTV set up as well. So if we feel there's any... If it's a big enough area, we will deploy the cameras, and we may sit someone on a TV monitoring so they can radio through if they actually pick anything up on the cameras. Just basically moving from area to area, calling out spirit boards, dowsing rod sessions. We've also got one of the teddies, they call them boo buddies, don't they, these days?
Yeah, boo bears.
It's a K2 meter in the shape of a teddy bear, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we've christened it Egon.
It depends which one you have as well, because some of them have environmental factors built into that too. Again, all the equipment, depending on what type and what model you've got, will impact on what that piece of equipment actually measures for.
Yeah. Okay. That's our sixth member. That's Egon. We've also got a thermostatic REM pod. We usually have set up somewhere, light sensors, especially on like corridors or stuff like that, where there's supposed to be loads of activity, so we can see it light up before us, and just walk around the whole place, talk to the owners, get staff afterwards, what we've seen, what we've heard, see if it correlates with what they've experienced, and then form a closing prayer for them of protection. And then we'll spend the next few weeks afterwards basically compiling all the evidence we've done. I'll compile a detailed report of the whole night for them and get that sent to them, anything we've experienced, seen, etc. And Louise will spend maybe a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, as long as it takes, going through all the EVP, the cameras, all the video evidence, and she'll just go through it with a fine-tooth comb. And once we've got it all, we'll send it back to the client, the house owner, the manager, or wherever it is. So say, well, this is what we've got. It's yours. The photographs and stuff.
Yeah. Well, at least you give feedback as well to the location. That at least they're getting that bit of vital information too, along with evidence that you've found.
Definitely.
Who performs your opening and closing speeches on investigations?
Well, we do. We don't have any parapsychologists to do that for us, so we do that ourselves.
And what have you got, like a script that you go from for your opening and closing speeches?
I have, yeah. It's upstairs somewhere at the moment, but I'm conscious that a lot of people aren't necessarily of the Christian faith as well, because a lot of these are written in prayer format.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's trying to find one that doesn't specifically go to any particular faith as well, which I do prefer.
So yeah, that's the issue that you've got. You know, if you're doing opening and closing speeches, and it's not for the right religion.
Yeah, because obviously most are more based on the Christian faith with like biblical verses in and stuff like that, and you know, you feel a bit of a cheat because I'm not a Christian or anything like that. So if I was reading it, it's like false. So we do try and cater for the full market.
Cater for the full market. It almost sounds like you're making a buffet.
Oh dear. So, in a nutshell, Andy, would you say that the afterlife is real?
From experience, yes. And that's going through not just what I've seen on the investigations, but also through seeing mediums and stuff like that, and stuff they know about me in my past when I was younger, and they've told me, and stuff's happened. But so there's definitely something out there. I can't fully explain what, but there's definitely something out there.
Where do you stand on demons, Andy?
Well, I work with a lot of them.
Say that again, sorry.
I work with a lot of them. It's not something I've really looked into, if I'm completely honest. I know there are cases in the past with some demon case, horrible things happening and stuff like that. Maybe I should look into it a bit more and do one of these online courses. And,
I like you. Quite funny.
I'm not sure. I will look into it a bit more in time. We're all learning all the time, aren't we? With books and investigations, we learn stuff all the time. So it's something I'll have to look at.
Massively. I mean, I put a post on my own Facebook the other day. I've just got myself a little bit of light bedtime reading, and it's all about the occult. So,
oh, nice.
No, nobody knows everything. You know, as we said earlier, it is always a learning curve, and you have to improve your own knowledge.
I'm not surprised you can't bloody sleep on a night then.
I went through the door this morning about the Yorkshire witches. It's all about witchcraft in York and all the burnings they've had in Yorkshire, not York, all around the area and stuff like that. So.
No, it's got to be done. It's got to be done. I love reading anyway. I can read for hours.
Yeah. Have you ever visited Towton, Andy? The river?
I live 5 minutes away from Towton.
Do you?
Yeah.
Apparently the river, when the Battle of Towton was fought, the river was that red with the blood from all of the people that died. People say that there is quite a lot of activity around the riverbeds and things like that. So that might be interesting for you to go and have a look into. Yeah,
we've been around there, and the actual scene of the battlefield is on private land. There's a path you can walk around, and you can observe the fields and the areas where they all cross. Mm-hmm. But to actually get on that part is private, so you'd be trespassing. But we have spoken to the Crooked Billet pub, which is next door to the battlefield, and they were quite keen on us going in there as well.
It's a nice pub, that, as well.
Yeah.
We just seem to know pubs, don't we, at the moment? They do a really nice Sunday lunch, I can tell you that.
I'll check it out. You know, let's say it's 5 minutes drive. I've never been.
You usually find that, though. The ones that are closest, you don't necessarily tend to visit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I mean, you've got Towton Battlefield, and you've also got Marsden Moor as well, which isn't far from here. There's a few old battlefields which date back to like the English Civil War and stuff like that, which have over the years had certain things happen on there, sightings.
There was the drummer boy over at Ilkley apparently as well, wasn't there? Yorkshire holds quite a lot of phenomena, I think, especially in like the big open spaces in Ilkley and York and everywhere.
Well, with Ilkley Moor, there was a case of was it a UFO sighting with a policeman, wasn't there? Was it in the 70s or the 80s or something like that as well, who claimed he was not abducted, but he had face-to-face with a little green man, so to speak. That was on Ilkley Moor.
All right. I might have to look into that then, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure that was Ilkley Moor.
I vaguely remember something about something along those lines in Yorkshire, but I can't remember. I don't really specialise in ufology, in all fairness.
Mm.
I think we need to broaden our horizons, Gemma.
I'm learning about the occult.
Yeah, but that doesn't make you sleep on a night time when you're supposed to be sleeping, when we have a TV show to get up for.
Neither does Horlicks.
Oh dear.
I am so glad that Pierce Brosnan? Pierce Brosnan?
Not really. Do you know what? I'd have loved to have had a showdown with Piers Morgan. In fact, I don't even think my nerves would have took hold if Piers had been there, because I'd have been like, let's have you.
He is entertaining, though.
Do you know what? Like, I mean, Kerry, bless her heart, Boss Lady Kerry, she always says that she loves it when Gemma brings out the smarts. And when I'm put in that sort of a situation, it flows. It just comes. And I'd have loved it. I'd have absolutely loved every minute of it. And plus, all four of us that were on that sofa are all quite strong women. We all know our own minds. And all of us, like, when we're all together, we flow quite well. So it would have been, I mean, poor Piers wouldn't have stood a chance. It would have been like a tag team.
I don't think he would have gotten a word in edgeways, though, with MJ, to be fair. I think she would have talked him totally to death, wouldn't she?
Put Piers in his place. But in all fairness, you know, we did it fab. It's made, whether good or bad, people are now discussing the paranormal, which is how it should be.
Yeah, it should be. It should be like that, you know. And it wasn't bad at all. It was a very well executed interview, I think. So, Andy, have you been involved in any of the tabloids or any media recently?
Only the court pages.
Is that business or pleasure, Andy?
No, not yet. It may be something to look at in the future, because we seem to be working a lot in York, but our group itself's only been going in the last 12 months, so we're still actually quite in our infancy as a group. Even though we have over 100 investigations between us, it's something we could look at in the area.
Is this the first time that you've done radio too?
Yeah, apart from these late night quizzes and stuff like that, yeah.
Have you been up till silly o'clock this morning as well, Andy?
Well, I got in from work about 20 to 8 this morning and got maybe 3 hours sleep, so...
Oh, my gosh.
Ouch.
Yeah, you sound like me. It's been a long day today.
Oh, yes. But that's normal. I just don't sleep on nights.
I have that problem.
He's reading the occult as well, like you are.
Do you know what? From what I've read up to now, it's a good book.
What is it that you're reading then?
It's downstairs, so I can't tell you because I can't remember.
That's no good.
I know. I've left it downstairs, but it's one of those that you pick it up and you can't put it down.
I like books like that. Yeah, so if there is anybody out there that wants to give Gemma and I some good reading material, then get in contact with us.
So, Andy, where do you see yourselves going in the future? What's your hopes for your team?
Oh, hopes and dreams. I don't
We've
know.
all got them, love. We've all got them.
I'd like just to have a consistent amount of investigations each year. I mean, we are all friends as well as colleagues. I don't. There's no immediate plans to go big, events and stuff like that. We're quite happy just plodding on doing the smaller market. Pubs like that are really happy to do it. So, the only thing I'd like us to do is just get a few more investigations in our belt. I mean, we are in talks with other groups as well, and joining them on a few investigations, like North Knots Ghost Hunts, Brent there. We're about visiting him with one, and there's another guy based in the York area as well.
Can you not remember his name? Are you having a Gemma moment where you just go, what?
No, I'm just chuckling because I can actually see you two on video.
Poor you.
No, I think it's North Yorkshire Paranormal Investigators, I think it is, NYPI.
I've never heard of those.
No, I don't think I have. I think we'll have to go say hello.
There's West Yorkshire, North Yorkshire. I don't know if they're actually connected. NYPI. We're in talks with them about doing a few places as well.
I think it's good to work with others. I really do, personally. I mean, I will work with pretty much anyone.
Oh, yeah, but there are groups out there that have created animosity between other groups for whatever reason. And if anything, they tend to be a bit elitist, I've found. And there's no need for it.
Yeah, but the majority are more along the lines of, I'm here to do what I love doing. It doesn't matter where you are or what profession you're in, if you will, there's always going to be a minority that will spoil it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
The thing is, though, as well, is when you start being successful and, like Gemma and I have been on TV, I've got, Britain's...
I've only done it once, love. Let's not make it out to be anything more than it is. No, one hit wonder, I'm telling you.
Yeah, but when you've done, like, Britain's Scariest Hauntings, the world's scariest hauntings, you've been on, like, Celebrity Haunted Hotel, when you've done things like that, it kind of instills a little bit of jealousy within people. And, jealousy is an ugly trait from certain groups, and we've had quite a bit of animosity since we've been on Good Morning Britain. I mean, we are.
I've not even looked. I've not looked, and do you know why I've not looked? Because I'm not bothered. Everybody is going to always have their opinion, and
exactly,
you're welcome to it.
And that's what happens is, you start to get successful within this industry, and people don't like it.
It's Boss Lady. Hi, Boss Lady.
Sorry. I turned my mic back on and then forgot. So I'm muttering away in the background, and they're thinking I'm with you, and I'm kind of wasn't really. But yeah, hi guys.
Terry Greenaway in the house.
You're right, ladies.
We are now.
I'm going, in the background, agreeing with what the ladies are saying, and I forgot to turn my mic back on. Oh, bless you. Sorry.
Never, ever a dull moment with us, I'm telling you. Well, and on that note, it really has. It's come to the end of the show. That has gone so quick. First show back, and it's just flown. So, Andy, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Andy. And I hope we'll see you on an investigation pretty soon as well. And let us know if you do the Guy Fawkes, because I definitely would love to be there if you're doing that.
Yeah, lovely. Will do.
Thank you so much, Andy.
Okay.
For those of you,
take care.
For those of you listening at home, I have put a link in on the chat room for Andy's group. So pop over, give them a like, check the guys out. We have shows coming up pretty much every night of the week now. We are back from our holiday, so don't forget to check them out. Kerry, do you want to do your bit?
If you miss any of our shows, pop over to our YouTube channel, Parasearch Radio, and if you click like, share and subscribe, you'll get a notification every time a new show goes up.
Yay! I bet she's missed that.
I've missed saying that, yeah.
It's been a couple of weeks though, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been weird, right?
Yeah, very.
Been a long few weeks. It's been weird with no Parasearch. But guys, listen at home. It's a good night from me. Thank you so much, Joe.
And thank you so much from myself,
Kerry.
And thank you so much from me.
Good night.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.